DarbyCast, sports, little Monday, taking time off. And you're saying, bro, you've been taking off way too much time. Like, what is going on with you? And I tell you what, still trying to find that legendary co-host. The search continues. And I've got some candidates out there. And no, we're not going to replace Kyle. Kyle, job security, you've got it. But looking for that legendary co-host, and you're saying, awfully convenient for you to be exceptionally quiet in these tumultuous times. And I'm saying, no, I wanted to just make the show. I needed to broaden it, get somebody's opinion out there other than my own, because truth be told, I think I've got about 11 and a half hours worth of great content out there. Phenomenal content, albeit somewhat controversial at times. But yeah, I've said most of the things that are like on my mind, if I'm being honest about it. Anywho, Monday, sports. And maybe I take a time out. Maybe I take a time out to address the elephant in the room. I am looking forward to going back to work. But I tell you what I'm not looking forward to is having to have my time divided and Kyle not being able to employ him anymore as the guy who looks things up. I'm talking about you, Kyle. I know. Give me a second. So with Kyle's been asking, can we get some paid subscribers to the DarbyCast? And I'm saying, Kyle, I'm going to throw it out there, but no promises. Yeah. You can click the link at the bottom of a DarbyCast episode and you put a little whodunit on that. And, listen, you don't have to pay to listen to DarbyCast. That's not what this is about. But if you give a shit about Kyle and his well-being, then maybe you throw in a couple bucks. That's it. And if that's in your wheelhouse, fantastic. If it's not, no harm, no foul. See, Kyle, I got you, dude. So Monday, sports. And I've got a couple different thoughts on sports right now. And you're saying, are you going to talk about Jackie Robinson? And I'm saying no. And you're saying, you must hate Jackie Robinson. And I'm going to say, what kind of a fucking stance is that? Jackie Robinson was an awesome dude. Did a great thing. And you're saying, oh, so you're a big baseball fan? And I'm going to say, absolutely not. Baseball sucks. It is the most tired sport around. I can't watch 400 games in a season. And I don't know how anybody does that. Imagine watching all the games in a season if you were like a Cubs fan. Can you imagine? I know one of my buddies, he went to college with this guy who watches he's from Chicago. He watches every Cubs game. And I'm just like, dude, are you okay? Like, how rough do things have to be going in your life for you to watch every Cubs game? I don't know. Just food for thought. But yeah, I want to talk sports. And I could talk about the NFL and what a disaster this is going to be of a season. It's just going to be tough to play games. It is. There's going to be too much racial politics going on. And I know that's a hot button issue. And I'm sympathetic to the cause. I just think it's going to be a bit messy. Like, every press conference is going to be, actually, it's going to be really entertaining. It's going to be really entertaining because you're going to just see people getting bullied left and right. You see that happen to Drew Brees, comes out with the highly controversial opinion of like, I'm into America. I think we should respect this country and pay homage to those who have fought so hard to make this country amazing, including past civil rights leaders. And it's like, Drew, I like that stance. I think that's a solid stance. But boy, did he just get shit all over. He donated like millions of dollars in the beginning for victims of COVID. He was a hero during the Hurricane Katrina thing, but everybody kind of seemed to forget that as soon as he was like, I like America. And it's like, okay, it's now on the level where you say something like that and you just get shit all over. It's like, I like our country. And I think although we've had our past differences and there may be a ways to go, I still think we're doing pretty well. And it's like, Drew, we're going to fucking kill. And it's like, whoa, I didn't realize how controversial of a stance that was to be like, I think the flag represents unity, and the way America has been is it's kind of cool. And it's like, Drew, right on. I dig it. But yeah, people don't want to hear it from Drew. So I think this is just going to be an interesting year. That if you're a white guy and you say anything, if you're a white guy, here's what I'll say. I know there's the whole silence is violence thing, which is a hot catchphrase. But sometimes you might just have to shut the fuck up and not say something. And if you do say something as controversial as like, I like our country, then just be prepared. Just be prepared to have your name dragged through a mile of broken glass. It's, yeah, you know what you did. You deserve it. So, anywho, I could talk about instituting something as bold, brave, and fantastic as instituting a mandatory trannies as cheerleaders in the NFL this year, which I know is on a lot of people's minds. Like, when's that going to happen? Like, get with the times. But I don't even know if I want to go there because that conversation is being had in households around the country. Fathers are having to take their sons aside and being like, you see that cheerleader's spirit? It's almost as big as her Adam's apple. Do you understand, son? Do you understand why this is important? And little Billy's just going to be like, I think so. And then the dad's like, no, let me show you a couple pictures of men in Speedos. This is your childhood. Enjoy it. Yeah, that's sports. Obviously, what I'm going to talk about today, what I'm most excited for is the Lance Armstrong 30 for 30. And you're saying, I didn't even know that was a thing. And I'm saying it is. I haven't seen it, but boy, do I have thoughts on Lance Armstrong. I think he's a great guy. And I think he was treated like shit. Okay. There was a time in like the 90s and early 2000s when roids and blood doping and performance enhancing drugs were on the level, and I was fine with it. Yeah, that's a hot take. How about all these fucking uppity complainers who came out and were like, I don't like roids in sports. And let me bring this back to the Chicago Cubs. They have sucked for a long time. And you're probably saying like, but didn't they win a World Series? And I'm legitimately going to tell you, I have no idea. I think they may have. But I want to bring your attention to none other than Sammy Sosa. Okay? When Sammy and Mark McGwire and Barry Bonds were slugging it out and just cranking home runs left and right. You had Pedro Martinez, who was gassing it in at like 107 on his changeup. Yeah, that was a fucking cool time. And you know who got fucking railroaded for that? You know who got shit on is good old Lance. And that was just part of the times. And I want to bring those times back because sports have been absent. Sports have been absent for a long time. People need their sports, but regular sports aren't going to cut it. People are feeling like they need something extra. They need something new, maybe something revisited, question mark, steroids and other substances, HGH, you say? And I say yes. I say yes. So let's give a little background on good old Lance Armstrong. When he was at the peak of his career, his resting heart rate was 28 beats per minute. Yes, that means that his heart, that good old thump-a-dump-dump, would beat, what the hell does that even look like? Just 1, 2, 1, 2. And it's like, what in the world? That's great. I think this guy's a cool guy. Big heart, mighty spirit. And I'm tempted to get off track and start talking about the amazing heart of Racehorse Secretariat, but I won't. So stay on track. Lance, physical specimen. When he did the VO2 max test, where you blow into a tube and levitate a ping pong ball in a plastic beaker filled with water, and the bubbles, you go, all you potheads who have utilized a bong before, you know what that sounds like. Whatever, right? Okay, moving on. He did that so long that the examiner, the scientist who was into that, he was like, we can just stop, okay? It went on for like over 2 minutes that he could exhale in a controlled and powerful way. That's pretty cool, right? Like, you're an athlete and a scientist comes up to you and is like, I'm so impressed with the test is over. Pretty cool. Scientists, not bad. I'm just going to throw that out there. Kyle, I know you're on the same wavelength. Yeah, hey, give me some nucks. Well done. Nothing ever dampens your mood, does it, Kyle? That's why you're such a great teammate. So, Lance Armstrong won 7 Tour de France. Yeah, there we go. And what a pro. What an absolute pro. People just wanted to ruin his legacy, and he raised all this money for cancer. But boy, did he just get shit on, because they were like, you cheated. And it was like, did you see any of the other riders at that time? Let me direct your attention to google.com, and I want you to search for a guy named Jan Ullrich, German rider, head of the T-Mobile team. Jan, Jan, Jan. His quads were bigger than my torso, okay? Like, this dude was riding a bicycle with fleshy tree trunks propelling him. And you're telling me, like, Lance cheated. And I'm like, Exhibit A, Jan Ullrich. He was a Clydesdale on a bike, and I respected him. But you couldn't beat Lance. And if you take PEDs out of the mix for everybody, Lance is still winning. And you know what gets hurt the most by removing PEDs from sports is the product, is sports. I want to see people shattering records all the time. I want to look up to these guys and be like, well, they're pretty cool. But no, you can't have that anymore. You can't have that because you got a bunch of uppity complainers who are like, I work for an agency. And it's like, all right, Tim, like, I get that you're a scientist and you were bullied for your whole life because you weren't good at soccer in elementary school. You never scored a goal. You always came in last at everything. But, like, quit shitting on Lance. Guy had one ball and probably still does, unless science has taken us to a new level that I don't know about, but that's a whole nother can of corn, am I right? But yeah, bring roids back into sports, because we're going to need something. The country is clearly frustrated, divided, and what better way to bring us all the way back than watching some heroism out of some athletes and getting a couple trannies as cheerleaders. I think that's as clear as day that's the remedy. And I know what some of you are thinking. You're saying, no, Maverick, you son of a bitch. You're not going far enough. We need to bring back the full bread and circuses of the Roman Empire right before its collapse. And I'm like, that actually makes plenty of sense. We need Bloodsport. Now, let me tell you about this. Imagine the Tour de France with the athletes on roids and they get melee weapons. No projectile weapons, no guns. No guns in the Tour de France. But I wouldn't mind a U.S. Postal Service team armed with Louisville Sluggers with nails hammered through. And you're not allowed to beat on anyone's bike. You have to aim for the rider, okay? Because you can't take out someone's bike. That's just not fair. I've got sensibility when it comes to following the rules. Like, I'm fine with roids, PEDs, and baseball bats with nails through them, but you got to know when to say when. Like, leave the bike alone, okay? So I think that would play well. Is just modifying most sports that exist now and amping them up with melee weapons. Projectile weapons, guns and rocket launchers, grenade launchers, bow and arrow. Actually, bow and arrow, I take that back. Bow and arrow's fine. I'm cool with the bow and arrow. I think that shows a lot of dedication to your craft. Like, can you imagine Todd Gurley just stepping on someone? You got that safety and he's just on Gurley's tail. And then Todd just takes out a crossbow and just shoots the guy in the quad and waltzes in for 6. Go Falcons. That's it. That's it. That's what we need in sports is more roids and more weapons. You're saying, what about gladiator matches? And I'm saying, yeah, that sounds kind of cool. But gladiator matches, just having regular weapons, regular melee weapons are going to be reserved for traditional sports. Gladiators need lightsabers, and they need, you ever seen that movie Tron? Like, decent movie. Kind of shitty, but like kind of decent. Those are my thoughts on that. But they had these like power rings that were like fused with technology, energy, rage. If we're going to do gladiator matches, I'd say they need the Tron discs that can be thrown. And they're like boomerangs, even though they have no properties that would make them come back to you. Unless magnetism in a strong way. I'm figuring it all out as I go. And you're probably thinking to yourself right now, why are you not leading a major sports network or league? And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm just waiting for the call. I want Dana White to call me up and be like, yeah, Conor McGregor just retired. We're going to need something real spicy. And I say, Dana, roids and Tron boomerangs with magnets. You idiot. Writing's on the wall. I wouldn't mind seeing a lot of sports take it to the next level. Like, why have we not instituted boxing with barbed wire on the gloves? Because that's what we need after this. Clearly, people are so frustrated with economics disguised as whatever it might be. Like, is there racism in our country? Of course there is. Are there dirtbags out there like, fuck you? Insert racial slur. Yeah. So people have a lot of pent up rage over that and probably other stuff. But I think a lot of it's rooted in economics. Maybe we'll save that for an Economics Wednesday. That will be a dicey conversation. However, let's stay on task right now. And would I like to sponsor a gladiator? Yes, I would. But I would also like Kyle to be able to sponsor one. So go ahead and let me reiterate. If you would like to subscribe to DarbyCast on a monthly basis for as low as 99 cents a month, consider it. Make Kyle's dream come true. Okay? So yeah, Bloodsport. Is that what we need? Is that what we need to like get back on track? And I know you're saying, I don't think we should make our society more violent and brutal. But I'm saying maybe we should, but in a controlled way. Right? And maybe that's how we settle political disputes is with Bloodsport. Because who doesn't want to see Nancy Pelosi and Donnie J go at it? First off, in a hippodrome race on chariots. I think that's event 1 right there. Nance has got, she's borrowed a couple of Madonna's dread steeds. Yeah, Donnie J's just got some roaring jet black steers that have been augmented to run fast. You ever see those bulls that have like a genetic disorder where they just put on a ton of muscle? I want Donnie J to have those leading his chariot as he's saying, "Let's do this, Nancy." And Nancy's like, "I fucking hate you." It sounds incredible, okay? Many of the DarbyCast doctors right now are probably chuckling to themselves and saying, I remember my first DarbyCast when I thought bouncing all over the place like this was weird, but now it's the only thing that makes sense to me. Yeah, let's settle political disputes the old-fashioned way with duels, but as gladiators. And the politicians, they have to be the ones fighting. I think you get some pretty key negotiations out of that. Because if you're too much of a dick in the political discussions, it's like, all right, let's take it to the Coliseum. You and me, babe. Matt Gaetz v. Kamala Harris. And they've got lightsabers because those are like behind the scenes. Those probably exist now. You just didn't know about it. That's how we're going to solve stuff. And I want roids in there. You're saying you can't have Gaetz fight Kamala Harris? She's a lady. And I'm like, you bigot. Get the fuck out of here. I will not tolerate that kind of nonsense in my futuristic lightsaber gladiator arena. Okay? Disgusting. Very inappropriate. Yeah, bringing back roids and HGH and blood doping, that's just the start. That's just the start. Beyond that, and then how good does ESPN get all of a sudden? And they can just kind of table some of these discussions of being like, I don't know, Donovan McNabb is, he likes Philly cheesesteaks and he's down for the cause. Although that may be true, that Donovan McNabb enjoys a good cheesesteak, I'd much rather hear about Nancy Pelosi riding in a hippodrome, cackling in the tone of an absolute psycho and her dread steeds. Yeah, if you're a DarbyCast doctor, you remember the dread steeds. You remember Madonna's dread steeds. But yeah, like, doesn't that just sound like the way that we heal, right? Is through controlled violence? Because right now, the violence is getting a little out of hand. I think we can all agree that the violence is escalating and it's very chaotic. And there also doesn't seem to be uniformity in what people really are looking to do in an actionable way. I've heard things like defund the police, abolish the police. The owner of BET said that he wants $14 trillion in reparations. And I'm thinking like, dude, you lowballed the shit out of it. What are you thinking? Aim higher. There's great stuff going on right now, but I think to contain the rage going on in our society right now, we need a safe space for violence, aka a coliseum and a hippodrome, bread and circuses. You're saying the Roman Empire collapsed right after that, you idiot. And I'm saying, but imagine how fun it was as the whole thing was coming down because you had people going hard, right? Okay. Man, people are so short-sighted these days. And I'm like, in the long run, this will pay off. Controlled violence is the answer because they miss their sports, and sports in a lot of ways was this cathartic release where, like, you know, if you lived in Philly and your Birds took down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you were like, fuck those people. Hell yeah, I'm solid. But I don't know if that's going to cut it anymore. I think it's too tense. We need more violence. The NFL's not violent enough. That's what people are they're too cucked. Okay. I never use that word, but when I do, I love it. The people, they're too cucked to come out with it and say, oh, the NFL is a violent sport. We need to soften it up. I'm saying the exact opposite. Let's go harder. Laser rings, Tron, magnets, lightsabers, Nancy Pelosi. Do you understand the potential of this? Dana White is going to call me tomorrow and he's going to be like, let me write you a check. I'm going to write a 1 and then you tell me how many zeros. Let's get this deal done. And there's going to be some scholars out there because obviously Darbyshire doctors, not all medical doctors, obviously. You can have a doctorate in plenty of things. But there's probably some attorneys with PhDs in history who are like, I don't know if that's going to fly with the spirit of how American competition works, nor do I know if that's legal. And then I say, you are so limited in your imagination, you idiot. And I hate shaming a Darbyshire doctor more than anything. But if one of the attorney, historian PhDs dials me up or sends me an email and says, we can't do this, I'm going to say, fuck you, dude. Get out. Stop listening to the podcast. Everybody hates you. Don't you get it? And I've got a workaround. I've got the loophole. It's called international waters. We build a barge, a huge one. And it won't be governed by any laws because it's in international waters. And that's where we make the arena, the Coliseum, the floating Coliseum. You're seeing this right now, right? You've got people rolling up dressed in tuxedos on jet skis. You have very cool celebrities there. You've got Chris Pratt showing up. You have Idris Elba. You've got Bruce Willis, Ving Rhames. Pulp Fiction, that was a good movie. Samuel L. Jackson is there, obviously, possibly as the announcer of the gladiator fights, and just says, look, motherfucker. And I just want that. Say what again, motherfucker? I don't know how good my Samuel L. impression is, but what a fucking stud. I want his voice on a loudspeaker, and we get a lot of drones to get all the angles out on the Atlantis Coliseum. Heyo. I'm just giving people the best business ideas of all time. And if somebody tries to take this idea, I know I give away a lot of ideas for free, but this one, it's going to cost you. Because a lot of people, they think that they have the entire business model just totally dialed in, but I'm going to save a couple key details, the real revenue generators. That's right, you son of a bitch. I'm talking to you, attorney, historian, PhD, who said we couldn't. Nobody wants to listen to you. We want Tron energy discs, lethal, with magnets and lightsabers, fuckface. Yeah, let's give the people what they want. We need Bloodsport. You're saying the economy's collapsing. The dollar will soon be worth less than the paper that it's printed on. And I'm saying, I have so many ideas. Okay? You are narrow-minded and short-sighted if you are not buying into this immediately. Yeah. You're going to have the fucking casuals who are like, I don't want to watch something so violent. And I'm like, well, just watch the roided out Tour de France with baseball bats with nails hammered through them. You soft bitch. Yeah. The real sports heroes, the real fans, just show up wearing like a nice jersey that says Pelosi on the back. That's what I want. Am I going to be a Pelosi fan? Hell no. Hell no. I'm rooting for Marco Rubio. You're saying he's not very athletic. And I'm saying what he lacks in physical strength, he makes up for in other stuff. And you're saying, what other stuff? And I'm saying, that's a pretty ignorant question that I don't even have to answer. But yeah, DarbyCast, Monday, sports. This is such an incredible solution to big problems. Politics would take on a new shape, a beautiful shape, like a tetrahedron. This would be perfect. It'd be a Fibonacci sequence. I don't know if that even makes sense here. I heard that word once. That phrase, Fibonacci sequence, perfect ratio. Found everywhere in nature. Let's do it by the books. Let's do it by the books. You know what? No corporate sponsorship allowed. No corporate sponsorship. You are disallowed. We only do donations. It's not for profit. Although it would be quite profitable. I will say that. But no corporate sponsorship. You can't say Nancy Pelosi cut off Marco Rubio's leg and eat fresh. No, that's not going to be part of it. Sports are for the people. Get all these corporate fat cats out. Oh, how bad are they going to want to get in? You tell them you can fuck up a lot of things with your big fucking checks, but not this sport. You can't fuck up the Atlantis Coliseum where duels happen with magnets and lightsabers, dread steeds, and over-muscled oxen. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of sports. That's it. I'm sick of you, big sports. Time to give sports back to the people. That's DarbyCast. Yeah, back to it. Back to it. DarbyCast. DarbyCast doctors. Everyone except for that attorney, PhD, historian. Get the fuck out of here. Dave. Fuck you, Dave. But yeah, that's a big deal. That's how it's going to go down. That's how it's going to go down. And a lot of people are probably going to hear this and they're going to be like, I think we need less violence, especially when violence is escalating. And I'm saying no. It needs to be directed and contained, moron. Unhinged violence all over the place. I don't like it, nor do you. I don't know, maybe you do. Maybe you're just some psycho who wants to see the world burn. Maybe you're the Joker. Maybe this is all a big joke to you. But I'll tell you something. If we want to ever get anything done in this era of wild political gridlock, we're going to need a gladiator style situation in international waters on a massive barge. It's the only way. It's always been the only way. People have been tiptoeing around it and being like, let's vote on it. And it's like, shut the fuck up, you coward. Yeah. I want to see disputes settled the old-fashioned way, with a sword to the tummy. Except it's a laser sword. It's a lightsaber. None of the profits from this go to Disney. Because I make a side contract with George Lucas and say, give me the lightsaber tech. I know you still hold a patent. And he's like, I am a good guy. You can have it. Talk to my legal team. Trey Gowdy versus Cory Booker. That would actually be pretty nuts. Because Cory Booker, he's a strong guy. He's athletic. You can tell. He is athletic. Senator from New Jersey, Cory Booker, goes up against Trey Gowdy. He's a little bit smaller. Fierce spirit, though. Very dangerous if given the correct opportunity. Yeah, very, very intense. That's not only am I reviving sports with steroids and magnets, I am reforming politics in a big way. Yeah. If people get too heated in the politosphere and people are going way too hard, they say, all right, we're taking it to a duel. That would really calm down people's rhetoric, would it not? Because there's so much flapping of the gums, circular discussions that never go anywhere. And it's like, all right, put your money where your mouth is. Put your lightsaber where your mouth is, you fucking idiot. And whoever wins, they get what they want. And people are going to say, that's not democracy. I say, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, people are saying our democracy is threatened. And I say, well, I want a constitutional gladiatorship. You're saying, what the hell is that? I've never heard of that. And it's like, of course you haven't, because you're narrow-minded. Ugh. Get that out of here. Take that narrow mind and shove it. If the trans community wants their own bathrooms, they're going to have to take it up with Ted Lieu, congressman from California. Ted Lieu, he doesn't say it, but he is very against the trans community. Ted, you've been exposed. You've been exposed. And it's like the trans community is just going to get this hulking Goliath of a lady. She's going to come out, and Ted Lieu, not to be underestimated, I will give you that. Don't sleep on Ted. But this is sports. This is politics. This is economics. Do I even need to DarbyCast for the rest of the week? Like, did I just nail everything? Yeah, and of course there's going to be a European division. How about I just pepper in some Europe Tuesday? Obviously, they're going to have their thing in the Atlantic. And you're saying, wouldn't that make more sense to call that Coliseum Atlantis? And I'm saying, we got to the idea first as Americans, and maybe we'll put our arena in the Atlantic first, therefore taking naming rights. And Europe, you're just going to have to do it in the Mediterranean. You cowards. You fucking pussies. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Is it not? Bloodsport, PEDs, roids, politics, Europe, economics. It's all there. This is the most cohesive DarbyCast you've ever heard. It's almost too cohesive. People are going to be asking themselves for the next couple days, like, how do we start working on this immediately, if not sooner? I'm going to say to them, it's already been worked out. Just call me. Just call me. Send an email to info@DarbyShireUSA.com with your credentials. And if you're coming in hot and you're saying, oh, I have my JD and I'm a PhD historian, I'm going to say, fuck right off. Get out. Get out of my inbox. I don't want to hear from you because you're a naysayer. I want people who are dreamers and doers and saying, yes, we can. We've come so far from these wild times throughout history, and it's about time that we took up Bloodsport. Honestly, this is the best idea ever. You know it is. I know it is. DarbyCast, like, share, subscribe, put it in the group text with your pals. Do it. Do it now. And then make a little donation if you're feeling like doing that. If you're like, I want to keep this thing going. I don't want Kyle to have to work at a minimum wage job. I want Kyle to spread his wings. I want Kyle to be able to sponsor a gladiator and not like totally break the bank. I want him to live comfortably. Kudos to anybody who's thinking about that. And that's it. DarbyCast, Monday, sports, coming at you hot. This is incredible. Pat yourself on the back if you listen to the whole thing. Look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I'm a good person. I don't care what the media is saying about anything anymore, because this is it. This is everything. DarbyCast, it's great to be back.